At least once a year, I'd snowboard on the slopes. It was a significant part of who I used to be. Always at my happiest, carving up the powder, or with a mug of vin chaud at the après-ski. But now with a young family of 4, who all harbour apathy for this part of my past, it seems that I'll never hit the slopes again, and this situation appears set to last. I'd really started to come to terms with this over the last 10 years, give or take, but in recent times seeing social media uploads has brought huge envious feelings in their wake. There's been a pattern in February half-term where families I know head off to ski, and the envy I feel bubbles up uncontrolled with the inevitable woe is me. Interestingly, I mentioned this to a local friend who's lived in the area all her life. Apparently this is known here as Ski Week. Looks like I moved to the wrong county with my wife. Now I realise this is a problem of privilege, and I'm lucky to have what I've got. But I'm just using this as an example of how envy comes to the haves as well as the have-nots. But the point of today's story is not about me wanting to ski or snowboard, but how we can deal with those feelings that cause the jealousy that we hoard. One of my heroes, this chap called Jay Shetty, showed me a better way to be. In his book, Think Like a Monk, he talks about practicing reverse envy. Once I had learned this simple trick, it really turned my feelings around. Listen on to see how it's done so those envious emotions will not be found. Let's go back to that skiing example, seeing photos of pals having a good time, gliding smoothly over corduroy pistes, or sipping steaming cups of hot wine. They all have smiles on their faces, and their joy is so plain to see. Shouldn't I be happy for them all, even if I'm not them and they aren't me? And here lies the crux of this skill, realising you can't have what they've got. Would you take that away from your friends? I think you'd realise that you would not. Especially when you look even deeper and understand that their happiness wouldn't come to you. You would have made someone else upset, and knowing what you'd done, you'd be sad and blue. So that's the point I'm trying to get across. If you truly care for others you see, would you undo the pleasure they've worked to create? Is that the person you would want to be? Now that I know of reverse envy, I see my mates' pictures and I beam. I'm delighted that they've managed to have a good time, and the envy no longer turns me green. Have a wee shot at this useful trick. When you next feel the jealousy rising, it might help you be a bit less dismayed and pull you out of self-victimising. And if you ever see someone with a better car, nicer house or more pay, remember envy eats only at your insides, and try reversing it using the way of Jay. You might not get those things that they have and be stuck wishing forever and a day, but at least you won't foster jealousy, allowing that envy just to slip away. A final mantra an enlightened friend told me of, which he keeps in his employ, is to remember in situations just like this, comparison is the thief of joy.